Hello, thank you for joining me today. This is Jody Shearsand, and I'm a creative partner with Kiwi Lane. I'm going to walk you through a two-page layout today using some retired Kiwi Lane paper from many years ago and Kiwi Lane templates. We're going to use the new, within the last couple of months, templates called triangles. You can see right here, this is the new triangles template set, and we're going to use that on this layout. You can see how I matted photos using these triangles, kind of a different look, a different way to mat photos and kind of emphasize them and bring the eye to them. We are also going to use this sampler set number 2. If you have this, grab that out for sure. You'll need sampler set number 2 and the triangles template set. If you don't have this sampler set, I'll tell you the different sets that these pieces come from. And you can also use really any border, any Kiwi Lane Fun border or border that you'd like if you don't have the ones that are in this set. I believe Cascade Trails is going to be this right here, and I think the regular border down here is I think it's Abbey Road. The other pieces that you're going to need are this pinwheel shape from Tiny Celebrate. If you'd like to pause the video and just make a note, I'll make a list of what to grab out of your Kiwi Lane templates. It is Tiny Celebrate. This big arrow is from Elements. And we're also going to use the Elements arrow over here for this fun interactive flip, I guess you'd call it. It's with a file folder. So that's using Elements arrow. And then this is brackets. This is a bracket shape from the brackets template set. Also going to use the another one of the pinwheels, and then this fun kind of a swirl shape from Tiny Celebrate also. So Tiny Celebrate, brackets, Elements, and then any fun border. This is Cascade Trails, and any other kind of border you can use down here. Any borders that you have from Kiwi Lane will work. So, but if you happen to have Cascade Trails and Abbey Road, these are the easiest ones to use. You'll be able to do exactly what I'm doing here. So here's our layout that we're going to do. What I want you to do is get your kit that you've purchased. If anyone would like a kit, I have more. If you'd like a kit, just message me, make a note in the comments, and I will get in touch with you, and we can send you a kit. But this is the layout that we're going to do today. So let me put that up here kind of out of our way a little bit. So in your packet, please grab out these 2 sheets. They've got green polka dot or green dot on the back. We're going to use this as our base pages for this layout. So grab these 2 pieces out, and then you should have another paper kit. You'll have a lot of paper left over, by the way, so you'll be able to probably do another layout with the paper that you've got. But in the other kit, open it up and grab out another one of these, the same paper, and we're going to use the back side, the green dot, we're going to use to make our triangles. And so that's why you have 2 sets, so that you have this other piece to mat your photos, basically. So grab out these 2 base sheets, cut off the little strip at the bottom, and you want to hold on to those because we're going to use them. This cute little strip has fish on it, and if you notice, we're going to use that at the top of our layout. So please don't discard these little strips. So cut them carefully and hold on to them. So we're going to use those later on. Also, let's see here, from your kit, you're going to, let me look and show you here. This is the rest of the kit that we have. It's got these fun little cut aparts, little titles, and this is the background, really cute. And this is another sheet. You've got this kind of palm tree pattern, and then you've got two patterns here, and we're really just gonna use, this fish pattern for the bottom border, and this little circles pattern, we're gonna use Cascade Trails at the top. So you can see here, we will use this paper for your Cascade Trails. We'll use the fish paper down here, and then under that is all the other side of this paper. If you can see, that's going to be down there. I think I probably just made that just a normal straight cut, and then covered it with this fun border, covered that straight edge. So I'm thinking that's probably how I did it. So that's how we're going to start. So get your base pages out and ready to go with the strips cut off. Get your third piece of this paper and have that handy to be able to make our triangles. But I think what we'll start with, and also make sure you have your file folder. Each of you in your kit should have one file folder. They could be different colors. I've got orange and yellow here. I think I already used part of the yellow, so I'll use one of these to make our little interactive flip. You can make more of those flips that you want if you want to. It's just totally up to you. You should have leftover, parts of your file folder that you could use with the leftover paper. Make another layout is your other option. So first thing I'm going to do is cut off the strips of my other sheets. If you can see, this has a decorative strip also. We're not going to use that this time, but I'm going to cut that off. And this one has a decorative strip also, very cute. I'll cut that off, and then I'm going to move these layouts, the example layout, out of our way so that I can make sure that the whole work surface is viewable, you all can see it well. Okay, so these are my little extra strips. I'm not sure what we'll do with these. I think we can use them for something later, some other layout. Okay, so let me move these out of the way, and let's make sure that I'm got my work surface really able to be seen in total, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And let me just look here, make sure. Yes, looks like it's pretty centered. All right, so we are going to start out with, I usually start with making the borders, and I find that to be kind of the quickest way to go, and it frames your page, so you get that nice framework using these borders. So let me open the set here, or you all grab out your borders that you're going to use. Again, anything could be used. Doesn't have to be these exact borders, but we've got Cascade Trails, which is a fun border set. Cascade Trails 2A and 2B. And then we've got Abbey Road 1A and 1B, and you'll see how our templates work. They nest together. These also nest. So a nice way to utilize paper is to use these borders. Here's our Elements arrow, Tiny Celebrate pinwheel, and this Tiny Celebrate swirl shape. So it's 8T, Tiny Celebrate 8T, Tiny Celebrate 4T. The T designates that it's a tiny accessory set. Elements 1, and we're not going to use this one. This is from Nature, so I'll put that aside. And then here is the brackets 1, and that's from the bracket template set. So there's our templates we're going to use. And so we are going to take first the Cascade Trails. So let me move this off, move off the Abbey Road. And like I said, the Cascade Trails, I used this polka dot, or this kind of fun wacky dot pattern. So because it's really very busy, I know my older eyes, I have trouble sometimes tracing on these kinds of patterns. I have trouble seeing them when I'm trying to cut them out. So I'm going to suggest doing the opposite side. So that's what I do. I'm going to just flip it over. Okay, and this is a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to, sometimes they nest and some, let me think here. This is the way they're supposed to be nested, yes. All right, so on this one, the Cascade Trails 2A and 2B, go ahead and put those on the back side of the paper. Make sure you're using the side that has the dots. And let's see here. I think what I'm gonna do, because we're just gonna use that little bit, I think I'm gonna move these down like this and have this additional piece, and then we'll do a straight edge cut right here, and we'll have two additional pieces that, again, you can use for another layout. In fact, I may have used them under here, come to think of it. So if you can tell in the layout, there's this paper right down here. So actually I may have done that. I may have laid these extra pieces down. So we'll look and see if that's probably what I did. So I'd say move this down a bit. In fact, let's do this. Let's go on the other side and let's take your straight edge cutter and let's cut between these two patterns to make sure that we don't cut into the fish pattern, because we'll use that with a different border. So we've got our little wacky circles or dots. And we are gonna use, now I've got these flipped over, okay? And again, it doesn't necessarily matter, but if you can see it's backwards, okay? You can see the writing here. Because I'm tracing on the back, I'm going to have them flipped over basically, all right? And you want 2A on the right and 2B on the left because they nest perfectly that way. So 2A on the right, 2B on the left, and I'd say kind of center them so that you've got these two additional pieces here that we're gonna use also. We'll use this side of it rather than the dot side. So let me get my pencil. So all you really need for Kiwi Lane is pencil, adhesive, some ink and a dauber, your templates, and paper. Did I say adhesive? Adhesive also, of course, is important. But those are really kind of all you need. It's pretty easy. And again, doing this on the back side, you don't have to worry about your pencil marks, but I'll tell you the other reason why it's okay to trace on the front side, on the side that you're going to be using, because we use ink and a dauber on the edges of our pieces after we cut them out, and the ink does a few different things. It disguises any pencil marks that we didn't, cut off, which is impossible usually to cut perfectly and cover all of our pencil marks. So the ink covers that, and it also kind of covers any imperfections that you sort of might have in your cutting. Sometimes some cut a little more smoothly than others. So that's the other reason for the inking. The third reason is it just looks nice. It really helps delineate your pieces, and it's just a very nice finishing look to use the ink on the edges of your pieces that we cut out. I mostly use brown ink. Sometimes I use black, And then sometimes I like to use all different colors of ink that match the pattern or the colors in my paper. I have a whole lot of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks, and those are usually a little more for mixed media type projects, but I really love them for inking as well. I mean, it's a little wetter, a little more kind of a juicy type of ink pad, but I think they work great with a dauber and really make a pretty edge, inked edge to your pieces. So we're gonna cut out these 2 cascade trails. And again, if I'm going too fast or too slow, you can pause or fast forward in this video. So here's our 2 cascade trails. These are gonna be used at the bottom of our layout. And then we're going to also now use our Abbey Road borders, or whatever border you're using. Just grab 2 of them. Grab, you know, a 1A, 1B of whatever border set you're using. And again, I'm gonna do it on this side because it is so difficult to see on a busy type of paper. And what I did, I guess I got a little crazy here, and I think I did something a little different. I sort of used this border as a fun border. So instead of having a straight edge, I actually moved the border to make this more of a narrow swirled pattern. So I'll show you how I did that. So it's another way to use your regular 12-inch border sets. So let's see here. This is Abbey Road 1B, and I'm going to flip it over because we're on the other side. 1A and 1B, and normally, let's see here, 1A and 1B, I think we're going to do something here a little different. Let's see here, let's go up a little bit and do that, and then I'm going to try to get these 2 pieces about the same width. Okay, so again, you don't have to stick with the widths that the border gives you. Okay, you can do that. You can have a thick one and a thin one, or you can adjust them and make them both the same, approximately the same width. You have a lot of different options. So I'm going to just take this Abbey Road 1B, and I'm going to trace it right in the middle of this paper.
Can I ask a general question before we go on?
And so there we go. I'm going to use that one. And if you can see, this is really the other, my husband's on a call. This may not work out because he's working from home and I can hear him. So maybe y'all can hear him. So we'll see. I'll keep going for a few minutes. Let's see. So there we got both of our pieces. So I didn't even have to really trace this one. All right, so I just traced the 1B, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut that, and then I'll show you how we're gonna do something a little different with this border. So go ahead and trace your 1B, or either 1A or 1B, but kind of in the center of the paper of this piece that we have cut, the half sheet, so that we have these in kind of a equal sizes. All right, did you see how I did that? This was the page. I took either one of these, however, which one you want to do. I pulled this one down off the edge to make it a thicker piece. I pulled this one up from the edge, again, to make it a thicker, so kind of have a half and half, same size borders. And so now what I did was, instead of showing this kind of straight edge, all right, piece, actually, you know what? Are they both on the bottom? Okay, so we're gonna have to try to make sure that our fish are going you know, the right, like they're not upside down. Although these fish you can't tell, but to some degree you can't tell. But we're gonna try to make the fish go the right direction and be swimming, I guess, straight up. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. So instead of just like having this where we have our straight edge, I did something a little different and made it so that you can see this other complementary green color, partly because my daughter's shirt has a lot of green in it, and I thought it was pretty to grab that green color and would complement the photos better. So I'm going to show you what we did here. I took, so whichever one this is, I guess this piece is 1A, looks like. All right, so Abbey Road 1A. All right, so we've got Abbey Road 1A. And what I did was I took it and I pulled it down and I made it kind of into a fun border. So like the Cascade Trails, where you've got both sides are decorative, instead of having one side straight, I've made it into a fun border. So so put your Abbey Road 1A on the piece that you already cut, and then and again, I'm going to do this on this side, so we'll see how it goes, if I can see it very well. You can choose to do it on the other side if you want, but you're basically just matching up this shape, and then you're pulling it down, making another pencil tracing, trace again. Go ahead and cut along that line, and you'll see what we're going to get here. So instead of the straight line at the bottom, we're making a fun kind of swirl that we've made out of a regular border. And also, so this is going to be going like this, okay? So it's somewhat different because I probably flipped them around or whatever. Oh wait, maybe it does go like this. Nope, they're upside down. So like this. So it's going to be a little different than my example, unless maybe, let's see on the other side. What did I do over here? Nope, a little different, but that's okay. And as I tell everyone, don't sweat trying to have it look exactly like the example. You can, these just work however way you cut them, basically, all right? So I've got them cut where the little bumpy is over here, but that's okay. So if y'all did it that way, that's great. If you did it the other way to where it will look just like mine, that's fine too. Just whichever way you want to do it. And I tell everyone that it's just, it's not, it doesn't have to be done a certain way. The Kiwi Lane templates are so versatile and forgiving that it really, is okay. So on this one, we're going to take the Abbey Road 1B and do the same thing. Kind of pull it up, and we're going to get another little fun border out of this one. So it kind of made it, kind of eyeballing it as to like how thick to make it. I guess I'm going to use the one that I already did, kind of give me a feel for it. Okay, so it looks like that's a good width. Go ahead and trace your template and cut. So this is going to be an additional piece, also perfect to make another layout. So you're going to have a lot of scraps to use for another, I would say a double page layout if you want to grab maybe your own cardstock, or at least a one-page layout. Very easy to get that, to extend this kit some. So this is a leftover piece, so I'll put it aside. So we've got our borders cut now. So these are right here. let's go ahead and ink these borders. I'll also have you ink your fun little fish strips, 2 of them. Let's ink those, and then we can get these down on the page, and then we'll do our other shape elements and then the triangles. And the triangles for you, you may want to wait on cutting the triangles because it will some degree depend on your photos. So if you have the photos, you can, you cut your triangles accordingly. I will cut mine that go with the way I did the example, but the reason, and I did the example based on my photos, which is, often what we do, of course, is try to work our design around our photos. Sometimes I just like to make pages and then make the photos work after that. I know some people think that's crazy, but I know a lot of people that do it also, and it does tend to work, strangely enough. You can find the photos that go very beautifully with the paper colors and the theme, and so just whichever way you prefer to do that. So let's ink the edges with your dauber. So this is kind of how we ink. So I use distress ink, like Tim Holtz distress ink, but I've started really liking this VersaFine Vintage Sepia, and I use it for stamping. It stamps beautifully, and there's a black version of this VersaFine, but I've decided that I really like it for inking the edges of my Kiwi Lane shapes too. So go ahead and ink up these pieces, which takes a little bit of time, but I think it's worth it. It, again, like I said, it covers up your pencil marks, and it kind of just makes the pieces pop and delineate when you're layering borders together. It just allows for just a little bit of a nicer view, or a nice, pleasing, I guess it's more pleasing to the eye, in my opinion, to have them inked and just to be able to see that delineation. So go ahead, and if you want to pause or fast forward through this, go right ahead, whatever works the best for you. And I like these daubers. This is, I think, a Tim Holtz, can't think of the name of the company. I really like these daubers, and the little, they've got Velcro on it, and so the little sponge part can be replaced. And they really last a long time. So, on these, gosh, I don't really think we need to ink these, because I think this is going to be covered. These pieces, these edges, are going to be covered. Could do something a little different here. I just noticed something that could be fun. Let me ink these, I guess. Let's go ahead and ink the decorative edge of these additional pieces, and we're using this green side rather than the polka dot side. Might try to do something a little different than the example. Let's see if it'll work out. So we've got our base pages here, and here's what it looks like. Here's your example. Okay. If you can see, I think I put like these down like that, and then I covered this up with our little fish paper, but I'm thinking I'm gonna try something different. Okay, so we've got our borders. Let's see what this looks like. Maybe let's put our borders, the green borders, like this. Let's see what this looks like. I could be messing this up. Hopefully I'm not. I think this might look better. I don't know why I didn't think of this, because I really enjoy using all the different edges that the Kiwi Lane borders give us. So do you see how I did that? Let's see here. And then we can use our fish paper, our little fish borders, to kind of cover up that straight edge on the top. Let's see here. Put it kind of like that. Let's see. I think that looks kind of cool. I like that. Now, what I don't like, let's see, hold on, maybe I can switch it around. I don't really like the way those things are coming together there. Maybe if we move it like this, it's a little better. These don't have quite the variation. I'd like to have kind of a flow often. So let's see here. I think what I'm gonna do is, I do this sometimes. You don't have to do this. I don't think it's totally necessary. Plus it might be covered up. Let's see. Now, on the examples, this is not covered up. Let's see. Why don't we do this if you want to? Sometimes I like to have these meet together. So I'm gonna kind of eyeball it and have it cut this so it has a little bit of a flow to the other border on the next page. So I'll ink that. So we're kind of changing things up here a little bit on the fly, but I think this looks better. So here's our pages, base pages. All right, so this is what the bottom border is gonna look like. We'll lay our fish over the straight edge to cover that up. There's that one and this one. And these kind of have a similar meeting point. So that looks kind of cool. All right, and so we're gonna cover that up like that. I guess let's see. Okay, so there's our bottom borders. I like the way that looks. Here, these go along the top. And you can put these on here however you want. You could have them look the same, like this. You could have them going like that. All right, let me see how I did it on the example. So this one I have going where the point is right there. And then I have the other side. Now it's kind of covered up with this little, oh, okay, I did it like that. So here's your point here, and here's your point kind of pointing down. It gets covered by our little interactive flip, but so if you didn't really want it covered like that, you could lay them like that. And so you'd have your pretty point over here, which I think is what I'm gonna do this time. So again, however we wish to do it, it really is up to you. And then we'll use our little fish borders. We'll go up here, a little straight fish here. Okay, so that's the way that's gonna go. All right, and I guess let's go ahead and adhere these pieces. So just put this together and at least get these things on here. I guess it goes that way. It's hard to tell which way these fish are swimming, I guess. All right, and let's do our fun borders kind of toward the top. So let's put them up here, kind of near the top, so that we've got room for our photos and our titles and things like that. Let's see, Okay, I'd say that's a good spot for those. Again, put these wherever you wish, or whichever orientation you'd like. Make sure your pages are together properly so that you can kind of continue your border. Okay, kind of have that little bit of a flow between the two pages. And let's go down here and do our borders on the bottom. Okay. Again, I'm going to kind of put these down really toward the bottom so that we've got, again, more open space here for our photos and other fun embellishments, of course. And so we're going to try to match these up. Okay, so pretty close. All right, and then let's cover the straight edge with our Abbey Road borders that we modified a little bit to get rid of that straight edge that is on the normal border. All right, so try to kind of maneuver it so that you're covering up the straight edge. It just gives a nice flow. Okay, so there's our borders. And now let's go ahead and do our other elements. We're going to make our pinwheel out of the Tiny Celebrate pinwheel shape. We're going to make 2 of these out of this yellow paper. And the yellow paper is the back of this sheet. So what I'm going to do, we're going to use some of these elements, and so we don't want to accidentally cut into them. So we're going to cut out this piece right here and use the back of it as to make some shapes and some elements, so we don't make a mistake and cut into these other fun pieces. So let's just cut this out. So we'll use the back side of this piece to make our pinwheels and our swirl, and maybe even mat this arrow. We'll see if we have enough. I guess I did have enough, but I don't want to cut us close on that. So let's at least do the elements that I know we're going to do in this yellow. So we're going to do 2 of these pinwheels and 1 of the swirl. That again is Tiny Celebrate. Let's see. So just these different elements you can layer, and it just brings color, across with because we're going to put a yellow element up here, a yellow element down here. It's just, again, pleasing to the eye and helps the eye flow and look at your photos and which kind of tell a story. So let's see here. I'm going to trace this on the regular side, the side we're going to use, just because this yellow is easy to see. Again, stop and start the video, however it best works for you. If you see, I like to put straight edges of a shape against the side of my paper. It's one less, cut to make, I guess. And where's my swirl? I guess we can do our swirl here. And how do I do the swirl? I guess it was like this. And I'm going to put it down here to maximize my paper. So get it right close to the other elements. And then what I'll tell you to do, a little tip for being able to cut better, is to rough cut out your shapes. Now I say this in most cases. There's a few times when I say don't do that, but generally you want to rough cut around your shapes before you try to do the intricate cutting. It's much easier to cut when you're not trying to cut out of a larger sheet of paper, okay? Your hands get stopped by the paper often. So it's easier if you just kind of rough cut them out and then go and follow your lines and cut them. Okay, so this will be our first pinwheel shape. And we're gonna use some pop dots, which I don't know that I have handy. You know, some dimensional tape to either pop these up or pop up the center part, which is gonna be some little cute little decorative circles. Actually, let me do this one first. Decorative circles that come with the kit. And I'm probably gonna just cut them, but probably would be better to use a circle punch if you have it. I would say that's a better way to go. But because I don't have my circle punch with me, I forgot to grab it. I guess I'll probably just cut them. We'll see here. All right, so there's our two yellow pinwheels. And here is the swirl shape. And so again, I'm going to just kind of rough cut around that. Get it out of that bigger piece so I can cut a little better. Again, if you can tell, I'm turning my paper rather than my hand. Also an easier and better cutting technique. I'm sure you all know that. Probably learned that as a kid, but just a reminder that it works well to turn your paper. Okay, so there are those shapes, and now we're gonna do our arrow, our first arrow, and you can choose any element that you want to trace around. The one that I used was, I think it says Live in the Sunshine. So grab your cut aparts sheet, Live in the Sunshine. Let's see. My arrow. So my elements arrow. We're gonna use this on there. So that's the fun thing about templates also, is that they really frame, you know, titles well, and just a really cute look. So Live in the Sunshine, that's kind of the title of our page, our layout. So again, I'm going to cut out this part, get it out of the hole. And I'm going to cut this carefully, just so, well, I don't know. I think maybe we could use the negative remaining space, the arrow shape that will come out of that. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Let's just keep it simple. Okay, so here will be our arrow that's going to go up on the top left of our left side page. All right, so we've got our arrow. So this is where one of our pinwheels is going to go. Oh, no, I'm not out of the frame here. I might have been moving over. Sorry about that. Oh, I hope I didn't move out. Let's see here. All right, so here's a pinwheel over here. our arrow will go like that. There's another pinwheel will go over here, along with the swirl shape, and we're gonna ink these as well. Okay, let's just do a couple more of our shapes. Let's do our bracket, and it is brackets 1, and I put it around the Sandy Toes sun-kissed nose. Now let me see how I did that, since it's kind of looking like it doesn't want to fit. I think I adjusted it somehow. Let's see here. How did I do that? I do find ways every now and then to fit a template on a sentiment or a title where it doesn't totally fit. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, there's the center. We're gonna move this over. See what I can do, see what it looks like. I'm not exactly sure what I did there. I guess I did that. I guess I moved it over enough to make it a little more narrow, and it looks like I came up here to a point where it looks fairly symmetrical. So I guess that's what I'd say, to go ahead and do that. Because I guess I really wanted to use that shape on this little title. Go ahead and do that, or you could just do a rectangle. Square, you could just, use your cutter and cut it out that way if you didn't want to do that. Or you know what would have been cool? Oh, actually, hold on. Ah, look at that. I like that better. You know what? I think we're gonna do that. If y'all haven't traced yours yet, stop and let's do this one. And I think I have another out of our other kit. We have an extra that I can use, and y'all do too. So if you wanted to, you already went ahead and used the bracket and don't want to do that after all, use your other kit and grab out this piece. All right, changing on the fly, but I like this a lot better. So this is Nature 6. So this is from the Nature accessory set. I think I like this better. It's just kind of a cute shape. It's supposed to be a cloud or the top of a tree. I'm gonna cut in here and not mess up my, be careful of your strip. In fact, I'll cut the strip out. Because you may wanna use this cute strip along with the other one you cut off before on another layout. Yeah, you're easily going to be able to get another page or 2 pages out of this kit. These 2 kits, basically. All right, so let me just kind of rough cut around that shape. But you can do whatever you like. If you want to use the bracket the way I did, or if you want to use this shape, or if you want to use a whole different sentiment, that's fine too. It's just whatever works for your photos and for your taste. And sometimes I don't stay right on the pencil. Sometimes I go inside of it, sometimes I go outside of it, sometimes I'm right on it. I don't know about you, but some days I cut better than others. My hands are a little more nimble, I guess, or just can cut better. Don't always know why it's that way at times. So here is what we'll do. This is so cutie patootie. So this is just gonna kind of go over here under this swirl shape. or the swirl shape over top of it, I guess. Our pinwheel, so there's that. And then our last piece before we get into our triangles, and we're gonna ink these, but our last piece is getting our file folder and cutting it. So what I want you to do is grab your file folder that's in your kit. I think I'm gonna use the orange one that I have. And take your arrow. You can either use your arrow, or I thought it would be fun also to use the triangles. Let's see, that might be an option as well. Let me open up the triangles. And on each set, there's fun sketches that show you different ways to use the templates. So there's these all nest together, I believe. I think there's 5 pieces in here, so one even little tiny triangle. So here's the triangles that we'll use. But I wondered about maybe doing a triangle out of the file folder and having it be my flip rather than using the arrow. Let me see what it would look like. Maybe using this middle-sized one. But what you're going to do is open up your file folder, and what I want you to extend the shape down beyond the fold mark, and this is what will be how you'll put it on your page. You'll have that fold mark already in there. Let me see here. I'm going to try this. Let's do our arrow. I mean, I'm going to do the arrow as well, but let's do this with the triangle and see what it looks like. I don't know if we'll have a spot for it on the page to where maybe it wouldn't cover up photos or something too much. So it may not be something we want to do, but let's just see what it looks like. And then with your arrow, I think how far did I do this on the crease? So I think I did this. So I did, like you can see, I did the whole arrow on the file folder. So this was the crease, this is the bend in the folder. So I did the whole shape and then glued it on the other side. And then we're going to embellish it. Okay, so let's do that. So it just depends on how far you want the arrow to extend onto your page. I guess that's what I'm going to do there. Okay, so just trace your arrow on your file folder. I'm on the inside of it, inside of the file folder. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter which side you decide to cut or trace on. So on this triangle, I'm just gonna cut on this third line kind of thing to have this overlap that we'll be able to attach it to the top of our page. So you want to have a little bit of overlap. The arrow has quite a bit of overlap. And again, you could have rough cut around these shapes if you want to. Probably a little easier to cut that way. Probably should have done that myself. Because you can see how more kind of unwieldy it is to cut when you're trying to cut intricately to some degree out of a larger piece of paper. I guess this gives you the example of how it's a little easier to pull this out of the bigger piece. So here is your arrow from the file folder, And we'll make a file folder flip element. And we'll see if we like the arrow or the triangle better. Because after I did this layout, I thought maybe it would be fun to use the triangle, and maybe we even could have used the smaller one. Maybe this one's going to be too big. We'll see. So again, however you wish to do it. This would sort of keep with the triangle elements on the layout. So set aside your file folder. So here's our two options. All right, let's see, this is kind of cool. So you do like that. Depends. So I like that. Again, it probably depends on your photos, but this is kind of a fun look. It pulls in the orange from the paper. So let's see. I'm going to use this, I guess. Use the triangle and get your cut aparts again. And then however you want to embellish them, you can go ahead and do that out of your little cut apart. So I used the relax, just did a circle around it. High tides, good vibes on the other side. And then I, like this is the file folder right here, the red. But then I also just did some little decorations of the leftover scraps along with these. So on your arrow, so that you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to let you do that as an aside or at the end, so you can choose what you prefer to use. So that's that. And then now, lastly, we will put these together. I guess let's ink and lay these down, and then we'll do our triangles, and then we'll be done. All right. So let's just get a little inking done. And we'll quickly assemble. And if we do our triangles, if you don't have photos yet for this layout, you may not want to, again, lay them down or adhere them. I would cut them because you do have a whole sheet of paper. You should be able to get some triangles out of there, and then when you find your photos, you'll have some options on how to use the triangles to emphasize and matte your photos. But just good to keep it flexible. If you have your photos, then just go for it and choose what works the best. And like I said, for the center of our pinwheels, you see on your sheet of paper, there's some cute circles. And that's what we'll use. I'm going to ink the triangle as well. I'm going to ink both sides of the triangle, inside and out, because you'll see both sides. This orange is looking a little like a, one of those cones. I'm not sure I like that, actually. I'm actually not going to use that. It looks too much like one of those cones like that you see on the road, I don't know. I'm not liking that. I think it's the color. So let's do the arrow after all. Maybe if I'd used a different color, I would have been okay with that. But let's go ahead and I think I actually used glue to adhere this flip element because it, is interactive. So it might come off if you try just to use your tape runner. So let's just at least adhere this, show you how I did it. All right, so this goes wherever you want, really, but I put it like this. Okay, that's about where I put mine. Okay, so the back side, it's got glue on it. Yep, so there's your arrow. We're gonna adhere this arrow over to the left. Let's do that. And I matted it, I think, in the yellow in my example, but I think I'm not gonna do that this time. I'm just gonna do like that. And then over at the edge here, we've got our pinwheel. So I'll put him on. You can use foam dots if you'd like, some dimensional tape to pop that up some. I tend to do that a lot. Over here, I don't know if I even want this swirl. I'm not sure why I did that. It might have been trying to cover something up, possibly, but I think I just like this. I think I just like the this shape and then the little pinwheel beside it. And then if you see, I used the fish, the little fish circle, and popped him up in the middle. And on the other one, I used the cute little palm tree, little beach scene in the middle. So use your circle punch or cut around those to finish off your layout. Kind of hurry in here so that, you know, it's not taking up a whole lot of y'all's time. Again, you can go as fast or as slow as you'd like. Okay, and now let's take our third sheet that we got out of our other kit, and we're gonna make our mats, our triangle mats. Where's it at? If I can find it. I had it out. Okay, so here's the sheet that we're going to use for our triangles. Now what I did was, it looks like I might have used the same size on all three of these. Kind of looks like I did. It's this, the one maybe that we used for the little flip. Let's see here. Yep, it's this one. So it's 4 of the triangles, 4 is what I used on these. Yep, and you could use all different sizes. And then I think this is the middle. I used this from the middle piece of these. And I love the fact that you can make these a solid, you know, triangle, or you can make them outlines, really however you prefer. So, all right, so I'm actually just gonna cut, show you how to cut these triangles, and then you can do that on your own as well. But let's get this done. I think my daughter's about ready to be home from school. I hear the bus. So there's our first triangle, and I'm gonna trace the middle. All right, let's do another one. Looks like this one is set up to where it goes perfectly on a 12, must be 6 inches. So you can get 2 on the 12-inch paper. Okay, and then the third one, I guess I'll do this. I'm assuming this will work. Is that gonna nest in there like that? Perfect, look at that. Great way to use up your paper. And to use it very easily. Okay, so there are my 3 triangles. One, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. And then we have the inside piece right there that we're going to use out of one of them. The other insides you will probably be able to use on another layout. And what I'm going to do is use my cutter to get this top piece straight. Look at this bottom, I guess, of this one triangle. Cut nicely. Okay, and then the other tops, or the one side of our other triangles, are the bottom of the paper, so that's totally straight. And you could, I guess, use your cutter on these as well, but I'm just gonna use my scissors. And then I'll show you how to cut out the middle, and then how you disguise where you have cut, so that you don't have to be poking into the paper, and also then you end up having this, I guess you'd say it's the positive space left over nicely to use elsewhere. So we'll have our 3 triangles cut out here from the green dotted paper. The other side is this swirly paper. This is great paper for beach layout. All right, so I don't know where it's best to cut in, but I'm gonna, I guess, just cut in right here, and then go and cut out the center triangles. So you'll be able to use this piece either on your layout or a different layout, or you can just throw it away. It's whichever you prefer. It's just a good shape. I probably should just cut it right at the corner, might be easier to cut in. With our circles templates, it's the same way. To get that middle part out of your circle, just cut into the outside, and then there's a way always to cover that and disguise that you did that. You can cover it with a picture, or with another, with an element. So you could cover it with bling. Really lots of options to disguise that. And I'm not very good with an X-Acto knife. If you are, more power to you, and go for it. Cut out the center with an X-Acto knife. I tend to not be very good with those. So there's our 2 arrows, and these are our centers. And then here's another piece that could be used in another way. So let's see here. Our 3rd arrow. And then we're gonna ink these, and y'all can adhere these however you wish and however it works for your page layout. So we're basically done. Let me know if y'all need anything. I guess, I think you can make comments at the bottom of the video. And let me know if you would like one of these kits, would like any of these templates. And that's just things that I'm thinking of. Just be glad to help you in any way. It's really a fun hobby, scrapbooking and paper crafting. I've been doing it for about 24 years is when I started, about 24 years ago. And it's been great, and I love using every tool out there. Kiwi Lane has really been fun, just a simple, stress-free tool to use. And really enjoyed it. I hope y'all do too. I've got a lot of people who've always said to me, you know, at the beginning, oh, I don't want a fussy cut. I don't like to fussy cut. And gosh, did they ever get hooked on this, even when they think they don't like to do that. It's just a simple, stress-free way to scrapbook. And the inking, I think, is fun. Takes a little extra time, but adds just a nice finished touch. Let me get this last one, and then I'll lay them out here, and you can see what they look like. And I will also then end by putting the finished layout, the example, in the frame. So you have that one last look at that. And I'll see if I can put like a thumbnail or something of it so you can see it, you know, whenever you want also. So here's all of our triangles. All right, so I think on mine I had one like this and had a photo. And that one, you can see I was able to mat the photo in total. Okay. Some stuff there. I was able to mat the photo inside the triangle totally. Oop, I got some stuff on there. So that kind of looks, it's kind of a cool look. And then this one though, I ended up kind of having to just partially put it over the photo. And this is on the left side. And the same goes with this one. But you can just see what a fun look that is. So over here I've got the triangle. And then I have this piece right over here with my title, where we were at and when. You've got your little flip. And then over here, I've got the two triangles kind of pointing toward each other. Okay, so here is your completed layout. And I hope this was fun. And I hope it was quick for you, something quick to put together, and then just get some beach photos or summer photos and just use these triangles in a creative way to mat them. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.